frozen forest stretches across northern Finland. A teenage girl moves through the trees with careful steps. Her name is Hanna. She is only 15, but she hunts like an adult. Hanna spots an elk. She crouches and slows her breathing. She draws the bowstring back and holds it. The animal shifts at the last second. The arrow lands slightly off target. The elk bolts into the trees. Hanna does not panic. She follows the tracks and the blood trail. Minutes later, the elk collapses. Hanna approaches without hesitation. She lifts a pistol and fires one clean shot. Then she kneels and starts gutting the animal. Her hands are steady. Her face stays calm. For her, this is training. This is survival. A man appears behind her like a shadow. He says one quiet line. "You're dead." Hanna spins and attacks instantly. The man blocks her and throws her to the ground. He is Erik Heller. He is her father. He is also the one who made her like this. Erik tells her she missed the heart. He tells her the elk suffered longer because of it. Hanna listens without arguing. Their cabin sits far from any village. No neighbors, no roads. Inside, the place feels like a training bunker. Targets hang from beams. Guns are stored like tools, not trophies. Books fill shelves from floor to ceiling. Hanna's childhood was built from drills, not games. Erik trains her every day. He corrects her stance and her timing. He teaches her how to shoot without flinching. He teaches her how to fight without emotion. He hits her when she drops her guard. He tests her when she is tired. He even attacks her at night to sharpen her reflexes. If she makes a mistake, she pays for it. If she hesitates, he reminds her she is dead. Erik also trains her mind. He makes her answer questions in different languages. He forces her to recite facts under stress. He teaches her false identities, names, dates, places of birth, simple stories she can repeat under pressure. He teaches her how to stay still and listen, how to track footsteps through walls, how to count time without a clock. She reads about animals and oceans. One page mentions blue whales. It says their songs can travel for miles. Hanna looks up from the book and asks Erik something small. What does music feel like? Erik does not answer right away. Hanna keeps one private object, a small photograph of a woman. She stares at it at night before sleeping. She believes the woman is her mother. Erik avoids the subject, but Hanna knows one other name, Marissa Wiegler. Erik says Marissa is the enemy. He says Marissa will kill them if she finds them. And he says Hanna must be ready to kill Marissa first. One night, Erik tries another surprise attack. He comes at Hanna while she is half asleep. This time, Hanna reacts faster than before. She blocks his first move. She twists his arm. Erik studies her for a moment and stops. He believes she might be ready. The next day, Erik digs into the snow behind the cabin. He pulls up a small metal box. Inside is a radio beacon. Erik explains what it does. If Hanna activates it, the CIA will find them. If the CIA finds them, the hunt begins. And when the hunt begins, someone will die, either Hanna or Erik or Marissa. Erik puts it in Hanna's hands and waits. Hanna holds the device for a long moment. Then she flips the switch. The signal goes out into the world. Far away in Morocco, a CIA technician notices the alert. He traces it back to northern Finland. The name Erik Heller appears on his screen. The system flags it as a serious threat. Phones ring. A chain of orders starts moving. Erik gives Hanna strict instructions. She must let herself be captured. She must not fight at the cabin. She must observe everything. After she escapes, she must travel to Germany. They will meet in Berlin, at an abandoned amusement park. Erik repeats the location until Hanna memorizes it. Then he leaves before dawn. He disappears into the forest. Hanna waits alone in the cabin. Soon, helicopters approach. Armed soldiers surround the building. Hanna steps outside with her hands visible. She pretends to surrender. They cuff her and fly her away. Hanna is taken to an underground CIA facility. The walls are sterile and bright. Cameras stare from every corner. Hanna is placed in an interview room, handcuffed to a chair. A doctor enters and speaks in a gentle tone. He asks about her father. He asks who trained her. He asks what she wants. Hanna ignores his questions. She repeats one line. "I want to talk to Marissa Wiegler." The doctor leaves, unsettled. In a control room, Marissa watches the live feed. She is a high-ranking CIA officer. She is calm, cautious, and ruthless. Hanna does not look like a normal teenage prisoner. Marissa refuses to meet her in person, so she sends in a decoy, a female agent dressed to look like Marissa. The agent has a hidden earpiece. Marissa feeds her answers from the control room. The decoy sits down and claims to be Marissa. Hanna studies her face carefully. Hanna asks questions that only Marissa would know. The decoy answers with help from the earpiece. For a moment, it seems to work. Then Hanna starts crying. It looks like fear. It looks like a child breaking under pressure. Hanna leans in and hugs the woman tightly. Guards relax for half a second. That is the opening. Hanna snaps the decoy's neck in one clean motion. Alarms erupt. Guards rush in. Hanna takes a weapon and fires. She moves with brutal efficiency. She uses corners and doors like tools. She strikes one guard with the handcuff chain. She takes his key card and keeps running. She slips through doors before they lock. She dives into vents and crawls through metal tunnels. She drops into corridors behind searching teams. She hears boots on the floor above her head. She times her moves between footsteps. She steals keys and keeps running. Hanna reaches a laboratory. Scientists stare at her like she is impossible. She grabs her file and her test results from the room. Pages mention abnormal DNA patterns, enhanced traits, a warning that she is not ordinary. Hanna keeps the papers and moves on. Hanna climbs through vents toward an exit. Outside, cars and agents are already searching, so Hanna uses another trick. She hides under a vehicle. The car drives away, unknowingly carrying her. When it reaches a quieter road, Hanna drops off and runs. She crosses sand barefoot. Heat burns her skin. Only then does she accept where she is. Morocco, far from Finland, far from Berlin. Hanna reaches a nearby camp and blends into the crowd. She changes out of her prison clothes. She tries to look like a traveler, not an escapee. She enters a small hotel and meets the manager, an older Arab man who watches her carefully. Hanna speaks Arabic fluently. The manager is impressed. He offers her a room. Inside, the TV noise and bright lights overwhelm her. Hanna storms out into the night air. Outside, she runs into two kids near her age, a teenage girl named Sophie and her younger brother Miles. They are traveling with their parents in a camper van. The father is Sebastian. The mother is Rachel. Sophie is curious and bold. She talks fast and asks direct questions. Hanna gives a false name and a simple story. Sophie believes it. The family leaves the next morning. Hanna follows from a distance. She hides inside their camper without being seen at first. Miles notices her. Instead of screaming, he stays quiet. Sophie eventually finds Hanna and confronts her. Hanna expects anger. Instead, Sophie smiles like this is an adventure. Sophie convinces her parents to help Hanna. They offer food, water, and a ride. They travel to the coast and take a ferry to Spain. Hanna watches the ocean in silence. On land again, the family drives into a busy campsite. People laugh, music plays, teenagers run between tents. At the campsite pool, Sophie meets two Spanish boys. She decides on a double date. Hanna refuses at first. Sophie insists. Hanna agrees. They go out to a carnival and a performance. Sophie flirts and laughs. Hanna sits stiff, watching everything. A boy tries to get close to Hanna. He reaches for her like it is normal. Hanna reacts like it is an attack. She grabs him by the throat and pins him down. The boy panics and begs. Hanna releases him only when Sophie pulls her away. That night, Sophie demands the truth. Hanna shows us her the file she stole. The papers describe her as enhanced, not natural, an anomaly. Hanna admits people are chasing her and her father. She says she must reach Berlin to reunite with him. Sophie gives Hanna a bracelet to remember her by. Hanna kisses Sophie once, briefly and sincerely. Then Hanna leaves before sunrise. While Hanna travels, Erik moves through Europe. He crosses borders quietly. He uses contacts and old routes. He avoids cameras and police. He is hunted, but he keeps moving forward. Back at the CIA, Marissa is furious. She remembers what happened years earlier. She recalls killing Hanna's mother during a struggle. Marissa hires a mercenary named Isaacs. Isaacs is violent and efficient. He takes a team and follows Hanna's trail. Isaacs starts at the Moroccan hotel. He interrogates the manager. The man tries to protect Hanna's identity. Isaacs tortures him until he gives in. Then Isaacs kills him and moves on. Isaacs follows the trail into Spain. In Spain, Isaac's men spot Sophie's camper. They start following it on the road. Hanna notices the tail. She knows the hunters are close. Hanna refuses to let Sophie's family die for her, so Hanna forces the family to stop. Then Hanna runs and draws the hunters away. She leads Isaacs and his men into a huge shipping yard. Stacks of containers form narrow corridors. Hanna uses the maze to her advantage. She slips between containers. She attacks from shadows. She tries to separate the men and take them down one by one. Sophie breaks her promise and follows anyway. She cannot let Hanna disappear alone. A mercenary spots Sophie and moves toward her. Hanna steps in front of Sophie and blocks him. Sophie runs back, shaking and terrified. Hanna is now cornered by Isaacs. She needs another exit, so she dives into the water and swims. Cold and dark, but it hides her. Marissa arrives minutes later, furious at Isaacs. He failed to capture Hanna. Marissa interrogates Sophie's family for answers. Sophie refuses to give Hanna up. Miles cannot handle the pressure. He reveals the destination, Berlin. Marissa now knows where the end is waiting. Erik reaches Germany and keeps moving. He notices agents tailing him through city streets. He ambushes them and escapes. He also makes contact with Marissa and forces her to react. Hanna reaches Berlin alone. The city overwhelms her. Crowds, lights, noise. She stays focused and keeps moving. She heads to the abandoned amusement park. Rusty rides stand still. Weeds climb fences. The place feels like a fairy tale left to rot. Inside the park, Hanna meets Erik's old friend, a performer and magician named Knepfler. He lives inside the park like it is his stage. He offers Hanna food and a place to wait. He treats her like a person, not a weapon. Then they hear a knock. Knepfler assumes it might be Erik, but he makes Hanna hide upstairs, just in case. He opens the door. Marissa and Isaacs are there. They push inside with cold faces. Hanna hides and listens. Marissa and Isaacs talk openly. They speak about Hanna's origin like it is paperwork. Hanna hears the truth. Erik is not her biological father. Hanna is a product of a CIA project, a program designed to engineer enhanced children, faster, stronger, smarter. When the project was shut down, the children were ordered killed. Erik escaped with infant Hanna and ran. Hanna slips out of the park before she is found. She runs through Berlin alone. She watches normal people laughing in the streets. Hanna tracks down her grandmother's apartment. She expects answers waiting behind the door. Instead, she finds silence and empty rooms. Then Erik appears there too. Hanna confronts him and demands the truth. Erik admits everything. Erik tells her who he was, a CIA operative trained to recruit and disappear. He tells her about a black program, a program meant to build perfect operatives from birth. Women were chosen, children were engineered. Then the project was shut down, and the children were marked for death. Erik says he could not accept that. He took Hanna as a baby and ran. Erik also tells her about Hanna's mother. He says Marissa killed her during a struggle. He says Marissa covered it up and erased the evidence. Erik says he trained Hanna for one reason, so no one could ever own her, so she could survive the hunt that would come. Hanna hears the words but cannot absorb them. Erik says he still raised her as his daughter. He says love does not change because blood is different. Hanna cannot process it. Her anger erupts. She attacks Erik and beats him hard. Then she storms out into the city. Erik follows and tries to explain. He says he trained her so she could never be owned, but there is no time left. Isaacs and Marissa arrive. Erik sees them first. He tells Hanna to run. Erik runs the other way to draw them off. Isaac's men catch Erik and attack. Erik fights them in brutal close quarters. He kills them both. Then Marissa arrives with a Glock. She shoots Erik. Erik falls and dies. Hanna turns back, unable to leave him, but she arrives too late. Erik is dead. The loss hits her like a punch. Hanna returns to the amusement park. She finds Knepfler hanging upside down, tortured to death. Marissa closes in. Hanna grabs an arrow from a display and runs. Marissa chases Hanna through broken corridors and rides. There are storybook statues and dark tunnels. A wolf's open mouth feels like a trap. Marissa fires and grazes Hanna's side. Hanna throws the arrow with perfect aim. It hits Marissa in a vital spot. Marissa staggers away, bleeding and furious. Hanna follows with cold focus. Marissa slips on stairs and drops her gun. Hanna reaches it first. She stands above Marissa and aims. Then she fires. She fires again. It mirrors the opening hunt in the forest. A clean finish. Marissa dies. After that, the noise fades. No alarms, no agents, only wind through a dead amusement park. Hanna walks out through the rusty gates.